皆さん、こんにちは。今日は、Pubcon ラスベガスに参加してまして、ゲストにですね、リンクビルディング、リンク構築のエキスパートのジム・ボイキンさんをお招きしています。Hi, Jim. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi there.
Yep, nice to meet you. So, you've been working on link building more than a decade, right?
Yes.
So, I'd like to ask you some questions about link buildings.
Okay.
So, some people at Google, like John and Gary, have said that the links aren't as important anymore. Is that really the case? Just how much do links matter these days?
Great question.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, we know that there's four main aspects to rankings. There's the technical,
Yep.
the content on your site, backlinks, and the user experience.
You said that
And so-
your session, right?
Yes, yeah. And user experience is becoming more and more important.
Yeah.
Google is using their Chrome data to look at what you're clicking on, where you're clicking. And so I know that user experience is more important these days, but if you have a really fast, great technical website and you have great content, the world's best, and you have great user experience, but no links, you will not rank in Google. So, and then when the Google leak came out a few months ago, we could see that backlink data was used throughout that document. And so is backlinks less important now? Maybe if we say usability is now, I don't know if it's half the equation, but usability is very important now. But without the links, you are not going to rank for anything in Google. So maybe the technical aspects are less important and the content is less important and links is less important because the user experience is very important.
Yeah.
But are links not important? No. Are they less important? No. Without the links, you will not rank. And so if you're like, oh, I don't need to do things to get links, you will lose. Links are still incredibly important, no matter what Google says. User experience is certainly more important now. I think it plays a much bigger role in rankings, but without the links, you're not going to get anywhere. You need the links in order to rank. If you then rank, then keeping that ranking depends on the user experience. If people are searching for a phrase and going to your page and not finding what they're looking for and leaving and staying on other sites longer and finding the answers on other sites, then you will lose your rankings. But you won't have a chance to rank unless you have the backlinks. Backlinks are still very, very important.
So while you said links are still important, but at the same time you have emphasized that user experience is still important. So this is a difficult question, I know, but say which would you more weight on improving UX or getting a lot of in links?
Both.
Yeah.
I hate to say it's one or the other, because even if you have the world's best user experience, if you don't rank because you didn't have the links, it doesn't matter. So I would say both are really important. I can't choose one or the other, because if I only do usability without the links, I'm not going to rank. If I only do the links, I might rank, but if my usability is bad, I'm going to go down in rankings. So you really need them both.
Okay, so we need to get your links in tandem with improving UX.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Next question is compared to 10 years ago, how have your strategies for building links changed? For example, say, I think there are some link buildings that doesn't work anymore, or at the same time, some link buildings still works. And I wonder if there are any link buildings that have emerged as a new strategy.
Well, a lot of our link building has been trying to write content and then promoting that content to try and get links from highly trusted websites, schools, teachers, colleges, organizations, government agencies. So a lot of our writing content that's educational and then reaching out to orgs and govs and edus and old trusted sites to say, here's something that you should link to, is still very valuable. And I guess we've been doing that for more than 10 years. And so that main part has stayed the same. From the Google leak, we also do other types of link building where we are creating content with the goal of having it go viral and spread. So it's different than educational content. It's content that people are going to want to share and tell their friends about, and that could get picked up on in the news and bloggers and news sites. And from the leak of the Google algorithm document, that viral content seems to be more valuable than I knew, meaning Google is looking for where your links are coming from, and they're looking at they want a diversity of links. So, you also want to get links from the news and bloggers and not just the educational. But part of what we learned from the algorithm leak is that a couple things. You want to have a variety of different types of backlinks, but some of the scores that Google looks at is, for ranking purposes, is the traffic to your website. And so if you build something and it spreads and goes viral, all of that traffic is taken into account for your rankings. So if you want to rank for life insurance, Google's going to look at all the different results, and one of the pluses is how much traffic are the sites getting. And so if you can build things to go viral and get a lot of traffic, that also is part of the equation of how your site is going to rank. So I think, one of the changes, I guess, is that I realize now in seeing the algorithm that you want to always be creating new content and new parts of your website that can attract links always. And Google's also looking at when links came to your website. And so some people are like, oh, I have these great links to my website. And I ask, when did you get them? They say, 10 years ago. It's like, well, those aren't as valuable now. And so new recent links are very important. And so I guess the other thing is that, like, you have to continue to all the time be creating great content and trying to promote it to get it links. You can't just be like, we have a bunch and we don't need any more. It's those older links aren't worth as much now. So you have to continually build things on your website to attract links.
So you said links from the educational site or government site is more important. So what kind of content should we create to get those links?
Content that somehow relates to your product. So if you sell life insurance, then maybe you write an educational article about life expectancy over time, in the 1700s and 1800s and 1900s and 1950 and now, and like some type of study would be good. Life insurance, that's kind of a good example. So something that you can think of schools and educators linking to. If you say, all right, we have life insurance, let's think back to our college days. And, if you think about the courses you took, what might be something that has to do with that? Maybe there's a class that talked about life expectancy.
So the statistics or studies or questionnaires may work?
Yes. Any type of educational piece, if you, maybe life insurance, I chose a very hard topic. I should have chosen like bottled water or something. Then you could write about the oceans and streams and clean water. So yeah, I would think about, if it was water, the pH of water, and a study of the pH, how acidic water is, and what life lives in different kind of water, and the life cycle, the water cycle. You remember in school, we all studied the water cycle. So it's like, all right, if we sell bottled water, let's write a great page about the water cycle, because then you can find lots of pages on the webs on K-12s or EDUs that talk about the water cycle. And so you write to them and be like, hey, I've been studying the water cycle, and you've got a good page that links to other pages about the water cycle. And, I saw this other web page over here, great information about the water cycle. Maybe you should add it to your page. So often I think, if I have a product like water, I'm like, all right, what are things that I can think of that we studied in school about water? And then I can write that type of content and then write to schools and teachers and say, hey, here's a great article about the water cycle.
I see. So in your company, who write those articles?
We do.
You.
Yeah, well, not me, but people at the company. So, with AI now, we may ask AI to write an outline of an article, which can save a little bit of time. But it's still humans writing the article. But we may ask AI to write an outline and then look at that while we're writing the article.
Okay, so speaking of articles, do you use AI tools for link building? If so, how do you utilize it? No?
With link building, and if I wrote a page about the water cycle and I'm writing to an EDU professor, I want to make sure that he knows that I'm real, that I'm human, that it makes sense. It takes a human to be like, hey, yes, I have a page about the water cycle, and here's an EDU page about the water cycle, but maybe that EDU page doesn't link to anything off site. And I'm going to write to the professor and be like, add this link. And he's going to be like, why? And so I'm a big believer in this is a human thing. And I want to write an email that says like, happy Monday. If this is a college that their mascot is, I don't know, a eagle, I'd be like, go Eagles, and hey, I've been studying this water cycle and I see that you have a page about it. I see you're already linking out to other resources on it. Here's a really good resource that I think would help your users, and go Eagles. The person's going to read that and be like, all right, I don't think AI generated this email. And I might even be like, I like the dog on your site, and, just something to prove that we're real, we're human. So no, we don't use AI to build links, because our whole goal is to show that we're human and this is a real email and it makes sense. And I'm afraid to push a button and then people will look at it and be like, scammer, and they're going to report this as spam because I know this isn't real.
I know. So I completely agree with it, because I myself don't want AI to write articles for me, because I've been writing articles for more than 10 years, nearly 20 years. So I strongly believe that I can write better articles than AI.
Yeah. And when I read articles now, it's like sometimes I look at it and I'm like, that looks like AI. Yeah. And I go out of my way to try and make sure that I look human. I'll write a sentence and do ... and like just do stuff that people would read it and be like, that's not a machine, like that's a human behind that.
Yes. Okay, this is the last question. So can you share any examples of times you've successfully built strong link recently?
I mean, every day. Our link builders they get a bonus, and the bonus is based on two numbers. How many links did they get that month? And then there's like a quality score. So the quality score goes from trusted. We're not going to write to anything that's not trusted. So trusted, powerful trusted means it has a whole bunch of backlinks. Links from organizations, links from schools and libraries, links from government agencies, links from colleges, links from a super author. Super author is they either have their own Wikipedia page, or they're selling books on Amazon, or they're listed in Google Scholar. And then the best, highest category is a neighborhood link. So if we got a link from a site about water and it linked to our water site, you'd be like, that's our favorite link. And so when we're trying to come up with, the link builder is going to try and, all right, we sell water. What's a good topic to write about? And maybe they'll be like bugs that live in river water, pictures and descriptions. And they might then search who to email. And they might be like, oh, there's only 10 sites that have pages that talk about water bugs, where they're linking out to other pages about water bugs, and they may send 10 emails and maybe they'll get a link. Maybe another person on the team says, I'm going to write about the water cycle, because I remember studying this in school. And they write an article about the water cycle, and they might find, wow, there's 1,000 people to write to, and they might get all stuff in all those categories, and they're given a bonus for like the really high links. Like you get a link from a college or a site neighborhood or a super author, they're getting more of a bonus. So me personally, I haven't built a link in a while, but I got the team that does it. It's like every day they're getting those kind of links. Some of the we did a linkable asset, one of those viral pieces. And this past year, Elon Musk tweeted it twice in the same day, which was really cool. And it's something we had actually built a couple of years prior. So sometimes we build stuff, and I think our 3 biggest viral pieces, one was 5 months after we published, one was 8 months after we published, and then Elon Musk tweeted one of ours twice in a day, and it was a little over 2 years after we had published it. So sometimes things go viral later. I guess those are some of my favorite ones. We've gotten links from Steve Wozniak's website. Often people that have been mentioned in Google Scholar thousands of times. I love those. Some people may be like, oh, this person's website is only a domain authority of 10. And it's like, yeah, but Google knows that this is Bob Smith's website. And Bob Smith has his own Wikipedia page. He's published books on Amazon. He's listed in Google Scholar 3,000 times. Like, all of that is great. Oh, we have sometimes thousands and thousands of times. So, and often that's college professors as well, are those that mention in Google Scholar, but not always. But sometimes we'll get a link from that person who, Google understands it's Bob Smith who linked to you, and Bob Smith has written books, and he has his own Wikipedia page, and he's mentioned in Google Scholar thousands of times. And like, those are ones where I'm like, woo, that is great. I don't care if the domain authority is 2 or 1 or 5. It's like Google knows this is a super highly trusted person.
Oh, excellent. I really appreciate all the information and experiences you gave me. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So would you give some nice message to Japanese SEOs that could inspire them?
Okay. You need links. Without links, you're not going to rank. And you have to create things to get links. And it has to be not boring things, but exciting things. And you need to always be doing it. You need to make a big list. What are all sorts of things that we can create to build backlinks? Maybe it's tools, maybe it's white papers, maybe it's studies, maybe it's videos. But I would make a great big list and be like, all right, let's keep building these. Let's go down the list all the time. You can't stop. You can't be like, we have enough. Links age, they get old. You have to be the expert within your industry. You have to write that expert content about your products, and you have to write stuff to be able to try and get backlinks to it. And if you do all that, you will have a successful website.
Thank you for coming, Jim. It was very nice talking with you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.